a few things to help your deadlift, and it should carry over to a lot of the other movements. But specifically for the deadlift, I want to teach you how to get the slack out of the bar, but I also want to teach you the setup that I prefer to get as tight as possible to ensure that the bar is moving as easily as possible for each of you guys. So first I want to talk about bracing. And bracing is essentially shoving all of the air that you can into your core. And what needs to happen is that your diaphragm and your hips and your pelvis are all aligned, okay? So that's the first thing. Then in order to brace your core, one way you can learn to do this is to blow all of the air out like this. And then I breathe it all in. And the goal is to push air outward on my obliques, outward on my core, on my rectus abdominis. And so this entire area is being forced out like a big balloon. Okay, so once I've done that, I'm ready to set up. And you want to do that before you approach the bar so that you know how it feels at the bottom of the movement. Basically, it's an issue that everyone's having as, okay, so I know how to get tight at the top, how do I get tight at the bottom? What I like to do is I get tight right away. I learn the bracing pattern. And then I go down right away. So I get tight, and I hold it, and I go down. It's a lot easier actually to do this, I think, with conventional pulling than it is with sumo, because you have to get your hips right. And for conventional, you just need to get tight at the top. Go down. This is the next part. Because once you're down here, all you need to do is get tight with your arms, okay? And you don't want to let go. You don't want to be able to talk like I'm doing right now. You're holding all of the air in your core. So the second part then is to get tight with your back and your arms and making sure that they're fully extended at the pull. Because if you have any slack in your arms, you're risking a bicep tear or a back tear or something might get injured. Okay, so we got the bracing down, and now we're learning how to get tight at the bottom. So we have to maintain the air that we got entrapped into our core, and now we need to maintain that posture. We want to make sure that we're not doing a cat back, and we're not hyperextending at the pelvis either, in the back. So we maintain that, and this is what it looks like from the side. Notice how my pelvis and my diaphragm are aligned that entire time. That's what it's going to look like when I pull. Okay? So maintaining that positioning is good. And then secondly, getting as tight as possible and pulling all the slack out of the bar. So I'll show you that now. I'm not going to be doing the bracing, but I'll show you what it looks like to get a very tight, basically a very tight back and bar. So what you do is once you already got the air in there, you're going to grab one hand, and you're not going to yank at the bar, but you're going to pull about 100 pounds of tension with probably 50 in one hand, okay? It's tight, and then 50 in the other. And you'll know the slack out of the bar because when you pull, you won't hear this sound. Okay, it will be like a fluid movement. So you couldn't hear any of the bar. And you want to make sure it's basically as tight as possible. And so this is what it looks like all together. Notice how I wasn't using my entire back to pull that. All I was doing is thrusting my hip forward. So that one more time. Brace. Hold it. So the key is to keep your pelvis and your diaphragm in a neutral alignment. Fully extend your tricep. Grab about 50 pounds out of the bar, and then the second one, your left arm, another 50 pounds of tension out of the bar, and then you hold the air in. Then you reset. That's how you're going to prevent from blacking out. You need to get the air back in you. So try that, you guys. If you have any questions, ask me. yeah, it should be pretty easy to understand, but maybe a little bit more difficult to understand if you're doing it correctly. So put your videos in the group and I'll talk to you there.